from FarmVille, Virginia, here in the Confederate cemetery, where there are about 400 or so Southern Americans who fought the Confederacy that are buried here in this cemetery, all entirely in unmarked graves. There's not a single headstone here. So they're not even sure. There's an estimate. Many unknown. In fact, maybe all of them unknown. Here's the first memorial that was placed here. Faithful unto death, Confederate heroes. This memorial right over here, dedicated back in 1900. It was downtown FarmVille, right across from Longwood University. It had been there all those years. And because of an incident that happened way up in the northern Union Yankee State, because of the George Floyd thing, for some reason, the locals, the town, decided to remove this beautiful memorial, kind of the heart and soul of the downtown, the most important war memorial they have in this area. So it was relocated here back in, well, it was removed about 2020, storage for a while, and eventually relocated here. I came here just a week or so after it was relocated. Sharing this with you, in some ways it reminds me of the one that's over in Amelia County Courthouse. See right here in the front, similar to Amelia County Courthouse, they have the Virginia seal, Sic Semper Tyrannis. Thus always to death to tyrants, defenders of state sovereignty. Confederate heroes here. Making a quick loop around here. On this side, it lists the companies that are organized in the county. You see the listing here, Company F, 18th Virginia Infantry, 18th and the 23rd and the 21st and the 53rd and the 20th, the 44th, the 3rd Virginia Cavalry. On this side, see the emblem of the Confederate battle flag, the Army of Northern Virginia flag. And on this side right here, erected by the Confederate veterans and the Daughters of the Confederacy back in October 11th, 1900. This town, this county should be very proud of it. It's really unfortunate that they listened to the hateful speeches and the protests of the few, the very few, who really have no understanding of history and decided to remove it. But trying to think positively, at least was moved here to a Confederate cemetery. So it is in a place of honor. These are hallowed grounds. After all, there are, they say, 400, maybe 450 or so Confederate soldiers that are buried right here, all entirely in unmarked graves. There's not a single headstone here. See up here, the 3rd National flag. I was told that it's been here about a year and a half. And it says, because it probably hardly ever flies, it flows. You can see it's covered with all the trees through here. So wind has a hard time penetrating through here. So even on this day, there's supposed to be gusts up to 20 miles an hour. Still rarely ever see this flag flutter. I've been here over half dozen times over the years. There we go, just a little bit. Wind catching the flag just a little bit. It's a rare sight here. Now I'm gonna walk up this pathway, passing by the memorial here, the very first memorial. The first several times I came here, this is all that was here, was just this. Now there is a little bit of a plaque up here, a little historical plaque. I'll go ahead and go up this way and read it. But you can see how this has been nicely, at least, landscaped through here. Little trail that just comes back here. Doesn't go off to anywhere else, just kind of dead ends right here. See some of the places to sit and relax. So now I'm gonna pick up the pace and come up here to this memorial as you enter the cemetery. It says, "Lest we forget, hundreds of men were interred here after dying in the FarmVille Confederate Hospital, 1862 to 1865. Sesquicentennial remembrance by FarmVille Chapter United Daughters Confederacy." This is placed here back in 2013. So as you can see, there's really not much. It just says hundreds. It's been estimated about 400. Higher estimates about 450 buried here, as you can see, just all entirely in unmarked graves. Now I'm going to make a transition right here to the entrance of the cemetery. Here at the Confederate Cemetery, love makes memory eternal. I'm just gonna go ahead and walk back down. So as you enter, once again, this is right off of Jackson Street. All these streets around here are named after Confederate generals. There's the intersection down here is Early, named for Ewell Early, and Bragg, named after Braxton Bragg. This is Jackson, named after Stonewall Jackson. Right around the corner is a street called Long Street and another street called Stewart. So as you come here to the cemetery here in FarmVille, Virginia, walk down this pathway. And like I said, the first few times I came here, that beautiful memorial in the background was not here. Passing the little lest we forget sign. I'll get to this beautiful war memorial for the Confederate dead. This happens to be part of the area of the retreat for Robert E. Lee after the fall of Petersburg and Richmond. So just yesterday I was in Amelia County Courthouse after the fall of Petersburg. Robert E. Lee took all the army and evacuated there about April 2nd and 3rd. They came over to Amelia County Courthouse, stayed there looking for food. They were starving. There was next to nothing to eat. There was no rations. They went searching through the whole area. The farmers had nothing to give. Everything was gone. So Robert E. Lee lost precious time. He continued on. And the very next day, there was that Battle of Sailor's Creek that took place not too far from here, just right after he came through FarmVille here. And then just a few days after that was the meeting at Appomattox. So this area was heavily influenced by the war. So leaving us with you once again at this memorial that used to be downtown. It was there. I took some good photos of it about 6 years ago or so. It was down there and the town voted to remove it back in 2020, and it was relocated here at this Confederate Cemetery. The vast majority of Confederate memorials in Virginia that have been removed have been relocated to cemeteries. In fact, my camp helps maintain one in King George that dates back to 1869. I believe it was the second oldest one in the state, 1869. Relocated from the front of the county courthouse grounds to a cemetery nearby. But most of them in different counties across Virginia have remained untouched. And they should remain that way. They should remain there forever. This represents the locals who answered the call, and they did their duty to serve and protect and defend their homes, their families, and their homeland in America's largest, bloodiest, deadliest war. A significant moment in America's history. So take care, y'all. Once again, from here in FarmVille, Virginia, Confederate Cemetery.